All right, I want to talk about the impact on our intelligence community when things like this happen. A lot of folks within the agency have been, the various agencies have been kind of talking about morale has been battered a bit. Now they're in the spotlight again, the CIA having to say we're not using this stuff on Americans, it's the stuff we use on bad guys. But it's yet another very public discussion about some things they probably wanted to keep private.
Well, it certainly is, but there are some things that we need to know about as American citizens, particularly if it potentially violates every constitutional right that Americans have. If our government is spying on us, if our government is holding back secrets about us and stealing things from us in the way of information, then something is rotten, not just in Denmark. It's rotten in D.C., and we've got to get to the bottom of it, because otherwise we don't have this great republic that most of us believe that we have. That's why, Shannon, this is terrible. I mean, I think this thing stinks bigger than the hog barn at the Iowa State Fair. And even when Michael Hayden talks, he doesn't say that the Russians did it. He says, I think they might have. Here's what we do know. There was information being shared by the Obama administration to the Clinton campaign. Robbie Mook said that on Tuesday on Fox and Friends. And what that tells us is that information that the government was collecting was being given to the private citizen Hillary Clinton and to a political campaign on the Democratic side. That ought to be looked into and investigated. I think what we're going to ultimately find out, Donald Trump will be vindicated, and the Obama administration will be vilified when the facts come out.
Well, there are a number of investigations, as you know, going on Capitol Hill. There were some letters that went out yesterday asking for additional things regarding potentially wiretapping, sharing information during campaigns, that kind of thing. So we're going to hopefully get the answers on all those things. I also want to talk about FBI Director Jim Comey, because he is now in the middle of all of these conversations as they go on. There's a piece that Michael Goodwin wrote in the New York Post, and he says that Comey is a master at leaking information, at making inferences and implications when it works for him to his advantage. Here's part of what he said. Comey's aggressive self-righteousness makes him bigger than the institution he leads, and everybody in Washington knows that crossing him can be dangerous to your career. What do you make of that?
Well, I make of it that Michael Goodwin is right. James Comey has assumed a position that no FBI director should assume. We saw what happened when a heavy-handed FBI director, J. Edgar Hoover, used what he knew to pressure politicians to get what he wanted. That's dangerous, Shannon. This is not how our country works. This is how other countries work that are totalitarian governments. And if James Comey is going to play both sides and play politics and use his position and information he has to leverage it for power, then I think it's time for him to go.
Well, here's what he said yesterday about whether he's going to stay or go. He was speaking and touched on that.
You're stuck with me for about another 6.5 years, and so I'd love to be invited back again. You can ask me about anything. I'm very slippery. I'll avoid talking about things I don't want to talk about.
All right, Governor, we're almost out of time, but he says he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, he said he was very slippery. On that, I would have to agree that he certainly has been. I think something has happened to James Comey from the person that a lot of people knew. It's unfortunate, but I think it's time for him to go. I don't care what he says.